The XRP ecosystem has never been stronger, and I've got the numbers to prove it. Exciting things are happening, so if you believe in XRP, you're far from alone. It's not just you, it's not just me. It's a growing community of believers. From a tech perspective, many individuals and institutions have long recognized XRP's potential. The problem, years of suppression fueled by the SEC's relentless attack on Ripple and by extension XRP on a global scale. But now the tides are turning. We'll dive into some eye-opening figures and share insights from an XRP community member featured in a Crypto Basic piece, Damage SEC Did to XRP Price. Spoiler, the SEC's attack didn't just suppress the price, it impacted the entire ecosystem. The moment has arrived. Let's be real, no one can deny the significant harm that was done to XRP, its ecosystem, and countless individual holders around the world. The impact was undeniable and the effects were widespread. But here's the twist. Despite all of that, I'd argue that XRP has never been in a stronger position than it is right now. Bold claim? Maybe. True? Absolutely. It's becoming increasingly clear that the world is waking up to XRP's potential, and honestly, it's about time. The momentum is building and the recognition is well deserved, in my opinion. But before we dive any deeper, let me make something crystal clear. I'm not a financial expert. This isn't financial advice, and I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. So don't go buying or selling anything based on my words. I'm just here to share some thoughts on what's shaping up to be an exciting moment for XRP. All right, check this out. XRP chart analyst Dom over at TraderView 2 just dropped some fascinating insights. Ever wondered how many spot XRP trades happen in a typical week? Well, he's got the numbers. Here's the total trade count from the past 7 days across the top XRP. This is data you probably haven't seen before. Big, mind-blowing numbers. What you're looking at here is the sheer volume of trades, the total count on individual exchanges over just 1 week. Crazy, right? Dive in and see for yourself. Let's start with the big fish in the top left corner. No surprises here. Binance takes the crown as the largest hub for XRP trades. It's the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange by volume, so naturally it dominates the XRP market. You ready for this? A staggering 7.49 million XRP trades happened on Binance in just 1 week. That's massive. Now let's talk about the runner-ups. In the number 2 spot after some double checking is Bybit, clocking in with 1.61 million trades. Following closely behind is Coinbase with 1.47 million trades for the week. Not far off is Upbit, a South Korean exchange handling 1.44 million trades. As we move down the list, OKX saw 784,000 trades, while Kraken recorded 127,000. Finally, Bitstamp rounds out the top 7 with 69 F419 trades. These are major numbers, and if you thought the SEC drama would kill XRP's momentum, these stats prove otherwise. Does it seem that way to you? I'd say it's a no-brainer. In fact, here's what's really catching my eye. There's growing confidence from the smart money, the big players in XRP. I've got some solid metrics to back it up. Take a look at this insight from chart analyst Ali Martinez. He points out that whales have scooped up roughly 900 million XRP in just the past month. These are accounts holding between 10 million and 100 million coins. That's a colossal move. The price has done its thing, and yet some retail speculators are still selling. And I've pointed this out before, but who's been buying? The smart money, the wealthy investors who don't panic when the market wobbles. They stay calm, calculated, and become even wealthier. They don't flinch at the regular waves of crypto volatility. Fear, not in their vocabulary. That's the mindset they operate with. Contrast that with the retail investors, the everyday speculators who often sell off their holdings at the worst times. Why? Because their emotions drive their decisions. Fear and panic push them to sell low, locking in losses. If they could avoid those knee-jerk reactions, they'd accumulate larger portfolios over time. But instead, they stay stuck in a cycle of selling small holdings and never reaching higher ground. Meanwhile, the smart money is busy snapping up XRP, even as the SEC casts its shadow. It's clear they see the long-term potential, unshaken by the noise. And you know what? I love keep an eye on moves like these. It tells you everything you need to know. I'd been eagerly awaiting the latest report from CoinShares, which highlights institutional flows into various assets, including XRP. And guess what? Numbers are in, and they're eye-opening. For the week ending April 20th, yes, this report gets updated weekly. The data was released on April 25th, and here's the standout. XRP saw institutional inflows of a whopping $31,600,000, 0 cents. That's right, big money is flowing into XRP. Meanwhile, Bitcoin and Ethereum, not so lucky. Over the last 2 weeks, both have seen outflows, if my memory serves me right. But the XRP story gets even better. If we rewind to the previous week, XRP inflows hit an impressive $37,700,000, 0 cents. How fascinating to watch this trend unfold. Some of you may have caught my earlier updates where I've been tracking these movements closely. Bitcoin and Ethereum took a hit recently, both dropping to varying degrees. Just a week prior, during a time of intense market chaos, XRP stood out. While Bitcoin saw a massive $753 million 0 cents decline that week, XRP actually managed to climb by $3,400,000, 0 cents. So that's a striking contrast. It's clear that the XRP ecosystem has faced significant challenges. Sure, the price has been pumping and it's gaining more acceptance, but the damage caused doesn't just disappear overnight. XRP is still recovering and remains at a disadvantage compared to where it could have been without those setbacks. Still, the ecosystem shows remarkable resilience, healing step by step. Given enough time, it'll feel like it never happened because let's face it, XRP simply makes sense. It couldn't be clearer. It just works. Pretty exciting to see, right? Institutional money is flowing into XRP while whales are snapping it up, and trading volume is surging across multiple exchanges. But that's not all. The Daily Hodl recently published an article featuring insights from the on-chain analytics firm Santiment, and I want to share some highlights with you. Naturally, we're focusing on XRP because, well, it's XRP. Santiment, by the way, is top notch. Their data-driven approach is why I've been a fan for years. They consistently deliver. Anyway, here's the gist. Santiment believes the altcoin market could keep rallying as long as two key factors remain in play. In a fresh strategy update, Santiment predicts altcoins could keep climbing so long as Bitcoin doesn't pull back to the $80,000 0 cents range. Adding fuel to the fire, the buzz around exchange-traded funds, ETFs for altcoins continues to stir excitement across the market. As they put it, starting may stay sharp, narratives are shifting fast. If Bitcoin holds steady, profits may keep flowing into various projects riding the latest headlines. Although altcoin surge might have staying power, if ETF hype keeps building and Bitcoin remains strong above $90,000, 0 cents, Santiment highlights growing investor excitement around potential spot market ETFs for coins like XRP, Ethe, Solana, and Doge. They added, there's a lot of belief that these ETFs, once approved, could attract waves of institutional investment, potentially pushing XRP and others into the financial mainstream. To think about it, aside from Bitcoin, no other cryptocurrency on the planet has as many companies racing to launch ETFs in the United States. We're talking 11 firms, 11 different players jumping in. Nothing else even comes close. And it's no surprise why XRP is stealing the spotlight. It's earned it. Unlike Bitcoin, which was designed to be a peer-to-peer cash system but struggles to live up to that promise, XRP nailed it. It's fantastic for payments, doing what Bitcoin was supposed to do straight out of the gate. The world clearly values that, and XRP stepped up to fill the gap first. Even after years of being held back, the market is still saying, yes, this is the one. Here's the proof. Let's talk about new accounts. Over the past year, the XRP ledger has steadily grown. On any given day, around 1,000 new accounts have been activated, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. That's solid growth, and it's worth noting as XRP continues to dominate metrics across the board. It's clear XRP is making waves, and the numbers don't lie. Fast forward to today, and while it varies as you'd expect on most days, we're seeing 3 to 4, 0 more new accounts being created compared to this time last year. The adoption of XRP and the XRP ledger has surged dramatically, showing no signs of slowing down, even during recent months of market consolidation. It's clear that these elevated levels have become the new normal, far surpassing what we saw just a year ago. Let's take a look at this. During periods of excitement, the growth is even more striking. On December 2nd alone, there were a staggering 30,000 new accounts created in a single day. Think about that. This is happening in a climate where many market participants are still gripped by fear. There isn't a whirlwind of action right now, yet XRP continues to hold strong. Why? Because XRP just makes sense, and more people are starting to realize it, which brings us to this headline: the damage the SEC did to XRP's price. One pundit points out that the SEC's actions didn't just suppress XRP's price, it also cost precious time. This perspective comes from an XRP community voice, all things XRP. There's a lot to unpack here, and while I agree with some points, I've got a different take on others. Let's face it, there's no denying the damage that was done. People were hurt, plain and simple. Everyday XRP holders around the world endured massive stress as entire networks were wiped out overnight. The SEC's actions, absolutely appalling to say the least. You can't overstate just how outrageous the fallout was. But hey, thanks for finally looking up big time. So let's dive in. What kind of damage did the SEC actually inflict on XRP? Honestly, it wasn't just a speed bump. It robbed the token of years of momentum. While the rest of the market soared ahead, XRP was left in the dust. The impact runs deeper than most realize. Rewind to December 2020, the day the chaos began. The SEC sues Ripple and XRP plummets 73% in just a few days. Major US exchanges delist it and liquidity dries up almost instantly. The setback was seismic. The price plummeted from 65 cents to 17 cents. The worst part, that was just the beginning. It tanked nonstop for a solid week. It really did. I thought it was closer to 57 cents, maybe somewhere around there. But yeah, it nosedived to 16 or 17 cents. Brutal, just brutal. Those are the facts, plain and simple. No debate there. Then came the kicker. 3 years in a virtual cage. From 2021 to 2023, XRP flatlined between 30 and 50 cents, while Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana soared through the bull run. XRP sat out the party entirely. Retail FOMO had no chance. US buyers were benched. Total price suppression. Sure, it's just one country, but let's be honest, it's the largest capital market on the planet. That's no small thing. It's a big deal, no question about it. If you're rooting for XRP to thrive, the last thing you'd want is a key market being cut off. And honestly, I still stand by what I've always said. XRP's price right now would be significantly higher if the SEC hadn't interfered, no doubt in my mind. Markets do recover though, and XRP has staying power. People are coming back because it just makes sense. That's not exactly a hot take, is it? Now, here's the spark of hope. In July 2023, a judge ruled that XRP wasn't a security for retail sales. The result? The price doubled overnight from 42 cents to 84 cents. Well, to be accurate, it took about 4 hours, and it actually peaked around 93 cents. Close enough, though. But then the SEC appealed. Uncertainty crept back in, and just like that, the rally lost its momentum. The SEC didn't rush to appeal, and XRP's drop afterward, that was all because Bitcoin took a nosedive. When Bitcoin falls, the whole market tends to follow, and XRP isn't known for breaking free from the pack. It made sense. Bitcoin plummeted, the correlation was crystal clear, and within a few months, those earlier gains were wiped out. But here's the thing, without that ruling, it could have been much worse. Stand by that. The market was struggling, crypto was in a rough patch, and by October 2023, most coins were scraping the bottom. Then finally, a bit of a market rebound. So yes, it was a muted victory at best. And as for the SEC dropping the case in March 2025, let's be real, that's pure fiction. It's no secret that Ripple and the SEC have reportedly agreed in principle to put this saga to rest, but officially, not yet. Then comes the headline, XRP jumps 10% to $2.49. Sounds exciting, right? Until you remember, it's already hit higher peaks before. No fireworks, no moonshot, but here's the kicker. The market has clearly moved on. Seems like the SEC drama doesn't matter as much as we thought. In times of excitement, news like this can feel like a spark ready to ignite a wildfire. Sure, fine, but let's be real. Most speculators already get it. XRP has its legal clarity now. The fight against crypto, that chapter's closed. It's over. Yet some still expect XRP to skyrocket instantly. But here's the thing, the market hasn't forgotten XRP. In fact, the data proves otherwise. The smart money is flowing in, positioning itself. The real question isn't if, but when. Just wait until the next wave of euphoria hits. That's when the real fireworks begin. No fireworks, no buzz, no shockwaves from that news. Makes sense, right? Why would there be? Nobody really cared. Same deal when the appeal dropped, barely a ripple. The market dipped 5% for what, 90 minutes? And then flatline. So yeah, the market isn't losing sleep over this. I don't quite see it the same way, but hey, everyone's got their take. Then comes the gut punch, opportunity cost. Analysts say XRP could have soared way higher without the lawsuit. Instead, we got $3.15 on a good day. No, it topped out around $3.40 this cycle. So I'm not sure where he's getting that from. But he calls it a big haircut, blaming not poor tech, but 5 years of regulatory chokehold. The lawsuit didn't just dent the price, it tagged XRP with a toxic label. Banks hit pause, institutions pulled out, and investors lost confidence. The damage to its reputation was real. Even after the legal win, he claims the stigma remains. That last point, I completely disagree. The data speaks for itself. It's crystal clear. XRP is no longer under attack. Nobody serious is doubting it, questioning it, or worrying about it anymore. The stigma argument, it's nonsense. If you hate on XRP, it's probably due to XRP derangement syndrome, not because of anything the SEC did. And here's the kicker. 11 firms are lining up to launch XRP ETFs. 11, more than any other coin in the US. What stigma? XRP's thriving and the numbers don't lie. What about the institutional funds pouring in? Like I just pointed out, the whales are buying up XRP. So where's the so-called stigma you're talking about? I don't see it. There's no stigma today. In 2025, under the Trump administration, you're saying there's stigma against XRP because of the SEC? Come on, it's gone. That's ancient history. I completely disagree. That claim just doesn't hold up. And again, look at the data, check out Mary's metrics. There's a clear surge in confidence around XRP. And then he says, innovation delayed? Really? Ripple had the potential to dominate cross-border payments. Instead, it spent 5 years stuck in legal limbo while competitors like Solana stole the spotlight. Ripple wasn't fighting in markets. It was busy battling in courtrooms. Fair enough, we've all heard this point before. But here's the thing. Imagine how many developers could have built incredible projects on the XRP ledger during that time. We'll never know the full impact because it simply didn't happen. No new apps, no innovative use cases, no momentum. We don't live in that alternate timeline, but it's clear fewer people bought into XRP along the way, and the stagnation affected everything. Still, the market is bouncing back because XRP has always made sense from a technological standpoint. There's a reason it was one of the early stars of the crypto world. So no, we're not doomed. Sure, adoption was delayed, artificially delayed, but the industry is healing now. And as for XRP fatigue, that's a thing of the past. The future belongs to those ready to build again. He claims retail is exhausted. Really? If there's any truth to that, it's certainly not because of XRP. Just take a look at what's been hitting retail crypto investors hard over the past month or so. It's not XRP. Not even close. Strongly disagree with that take. Then he says institutions are cautious. Nope, not buying it. Look at all the firms filing for ETF, or those are institutions, aren't they? And don't forget the institutional funds I mentioned. Tons of money is pouring in, even when Bitcoin and ETH were stumbling. His statement just doesn't hold water. And about price movements being ignored even after winning the case, that's laughable. XRP has been the top performer among the top 100 coins by market cap since the ruling. The claims just don't add up. So many inaccuracies here. Now, everyone's entitled to their opinion, sure, but what he's presenting isn't an opinion. It's flat out incorrect. I'm not saying he's trying to mislead anyone, but maybe he doesn't realize he's spreading things that are just wrong. Sometimes you've got to call it like you see it. Maybe he's missing some of the data I've shared with you. Anyway, he claims XRP's biggest issue isn't the SEC, but apathy. Seriously? Apathy for one of the most adopted coins out there? What are you even talking about? Look at what's ahead. ETF filing, stablecoins like RLUSD, a renewed focus on institutional partnerships. The groundwork is solid, but trust takes time to rebuild. Sure. Still, XRP has more momentum than any other top 100 coin. I mean, are we even looking at the same facts here? Then he adds, XRP suppression wasn't just about price. It was about time. Time lost, missed opportunities with tarnished reputation. But now the chains are off. So will Ripple rise to the occasion? It's not just about Ripple. This is about the whole XRP ecosystem. Anyway, he asks, did the SEC clip its wings for good? Honestly, if you've seen the data I've shared in this video, you wouldn't even need to ask. The proof is clear, and there's so much more to discuss. It's obvious where this is heading. XRP is booming, no doubt about it, but the tone of this thread, yeah, not really my vibe. He says, I'm betting XRP will take off. On that, we agree. And he ends with, thanks for reading. Here's my take. Optimism is key. The best is still ahead for everyone, but honestly, some attitudes out here could use a refresh. I get it. After everything we've been through over the past few years, it's hard to shake off those old feelings. But guess what? That chapter is over. It's a total of 180 now. This is our time. This is our world. We're crushing it. Pick any metric and chances are we're leading the pack. So why dwell on the past? Sure, I acknowledge it wasn't great. Far from it. But let's focus on where we are now. Things are incredible for XRP holders. Better than any other crypto community out there. The future is bright and there's every reason to feel excited. Oh, and by the way, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say are right. That would be a seriously bad idea.